Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 6 of season 3 of The Mandalorian. If you guys are new here, please, for me, guys, feel free to subscribe. It does help out the channel. Alright, episode 6. This is going to be a little bit of a smaller review just because I don't think that there's so much to cover. So, last episode, we sort of dealt with the sort of agreement between the people of Mandalore, more specifically the ones that Din Djarin was united with, and we sort of saw them agreeing to follow Bo-Katan with whatever she does, because she has pretty much lived both lives of the Mandalore. Well, this episode, we look at the other side of the Mandalorian people, that being the group that Bo-Katan was originally in. I believe it was during season 2, in which we saw her teaming up with the other Mandalorians, the ones that take off their helmets. So I know one of them was WWE superstar Sasha Banks, and now instead of them being led by Bo-Katan, they're now being led by the other guy that they were with, Axel Wolf. So he's sort of the leader now of the current other half of the Mandalore. I don't know exactly what they're specifically called. They're all just Mandalores, but there's like different groups. So this episode is, I'm not gonna lie, it's more of a filler arc. If anything, it's more of a filler episode. The first 35 minutes, and there's really nothing groundbreaking aside from some cool storylines and from some cool actors that show up. Essentially, what ends up happening in the first 35 minutes of the episode is they're trying to find Bo-Katan and Din Djarin are trying to find Bo-Katan's former group of Mandalores. But in order to do that, they have to sort of enter this brand new planet that now has a democracy rule on it. They have to pretty much meet up with the king and queen of this planet. They are pretty much sent to go be introduced to them, and it's actually pretty cool. They're actually, so a couple cameos in this episode. The king in this episode, I'm just gonna call him the king. I know there's probably some actual term, but the king is played by Jack Black, and the queen is played by Lizzo. So it's sort of it's very unique. I mean, I'm very happy that they kind of got some cool actors and some artists to actually do this, and it's not the only ones, but essentially, their whole problem is that in order for them to meet Bo-Katan's previous Mandalorian group, they have to figure out a crime for them. That being that their planet is essentially armed and supplied with former Imperial droids. And Imperial droids were obviously droids that fought alongside the Empire and pretty much were tasked to kill and to destroy and to harm others. But now they've sort of been reprogrammed in order to help the people of this planet. But there's sort of an error in which a couple of droids sort of program back to their Imperial ways and still create destruction and chaos. So it's up to Bo and Din in order to try to find out who's responsible for the droids reprogramming and who's responsible for causing all of this chaos. And so it leads them to go through like this sort of quick mystery, like who did this, we're trying to solve this, and then it actually leads to them meeting a bunch of people. One of the people that they ended up meeting was a officer of this planet who's actually played by Christopher Lloyd, who played Doc Brown in the original Back to the Future trilogy. And that was really, really cool to see him like it's Christopher Lloyd, but he's really, really old from what he once was in, like Back to the Future, and he's bald, so he's playing like this really cool officer, and you can really tell that they really allowed him to sort of, just sort of play as himself, because whenever he's on screen or whenever he's acting, it's essentially himself in like a Star Wars universe. So that was pretty cool. So the first, as I said before, the first 35 minutes is them sort of going on this adventure / mystery to sort of find out where the rogue droids are, and then afterwards they have to find out the programming that's responsible for causing the rogue droids, and then they have to find the original source / the original person who created the rogue droids. And we end up finding out, spoiler alert, it's actually Christopher Lloyd's character, and the only reason why he did it was because he was also part of the Empire way back in the day. And there's actually a line that he ends up mentioning. He ends up bringing up Count Dooku, who, as we know, was a Sith way back during the prequel trilogy, and he sort of aligns and agrees with Count Dooku's ideology. So he was essentially ex-Empire who is now working undercover to also create rogue droids in order to bring down this world. And it actually kind of makes sense when you consider that Jack Black's character, who is the king of this planet, was actually ex-Empire as well, ex-Imperial. So it's sort of like, this one person was ex-Empire who now turned good, and then another ex-Empire person who is still evil and is just hiding among the other people. So it's a good little murder, or not murder mystery, but sort of like rogue droid mystery. It's really fun. I do see where a lot of people are going to get mad with this episode, specifically that it really didn't have any overall storyline. Like, it's sort of like a pit stop before we get into our main event. And I can see why some people hate it. Me personally, I don't mind it. Will I watch it again? Probably not. Maybe during a rerun, but that's essentially it. So, we finally get to... excuse me. So we finally get into the end of the episode. And this is where things are really building up. Because, they're able to solve the crime. And they're able to finally meet up with Bo-Katan's ex-crew, who is now being commanded by Axel Wolf. So, they end up meeting Bo-Katan, Din Djarin, they meet the other Mandalorians, and the whole reason why they sort of don't follow Bo-Katan is because she has plans to reclaim Mandalore, and that they pretty much don't agree with her. And also, because Bo-Katan doesn't wield the Darksaber, she pretty much has no power to command other Mandalore. She's pretty much just a person with an idea and no execution on how to do it. So pretty much what ends up happening, Bo challenges Axe to a battle in order to find out who's the actual rightful leader. So they get into a little quick combat session. Bo wins. She then is able to sort of command her people again. Then Axel says that, you're not worthy because you don't hold the Darksaber. Whoever owns the Darksaber is the one who can lead our people. And the Darksaber is now owned by Mando, Din Djarin. But, in kind of a shocking way, I wasn't expecting for them to do this. Din then tells the people of Mandalore, or the Mandalorian people, that, no, you guys are getting it all wrong. Bo-Katan actually deserves this because way back in episode 2, when they were in the mines, the monster, the Mythosaur, I'm assuming, that pulled Din pretty much beat him in sort of a battle and sort of was able to easily defeat him. And it wasn't until Bo got involved in that fight to which she was able to scare off the Mythosaur and save Din Djarin's life. So it's kind of like this little loophole in which the Mythosaur semi-defeated Din, and then Bo semi-defeated the Mythosaur and saved Din. So in the end, Mando ends up giving the Darksaber to Bo because he saved his life way back in episode 2. It's a bit of a loophole. I mean, it's technically not like a combat situation. It's more like, hey, this bigger enemy defeated me. You defeated it by scaring it off, and then you saved me. So it's kind of like I owe you one, so here's a Darksaber. And we end the episode with Bo now officially holding the lightsaber and being able to command the Mandalores. And I'm assuming that these next 2 episodes are going to be the people who live by the Creed and the people that Bo was with coming together and finally reclaiming Mandalore once and for all. I cannot wait. This episode was a little bit of a filler, so I'll let it slide just because I know these next 2 episodes are going to be really, really awesome. I hope that we end this season strong. Overall, aside from the last 10 minutes, it was a bit of a slow episode. I'm going to give this episode 6.5. Wasn't interesting, but it also wasn't completely boring. So, 6.5. 2 more episodes left of season 3. Hopefully we get some cool things next week. But in the meantime, guys, that will be it for this review. If you guys did enjoy, please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. My name is Anthony Salic. I cannot wait to see you guys next week for episode 7. And until then, guys, peace out.